Hey everyone, this is Andy Hall. You're in this train wreck of a show, Atheists Drinking Out Loud 4. We have John Hamill, Seamus, Neil the 604 Atheist. You know who we are, right? Neil was John was just shaming us Americans, the people here in the States, excuse me, about how you have a Green Party and your whole entire country isn't up in arms over chaos and politics, and it just, everything's functional over there, it sounds like. Is everything more or less functional?
More or less. Well, we're back in lockdown. The second wave actually isn't bad at all in comparison to the first, but I think the government has decided kind of go big, go early with the lockdown and hopefully nip things in the bud. But yes, we have the Green Party with two other parties in government at the minute, and I would like to give Neil in particular an update on how the Greens are doing here, but unfortunately I haven't been paying attention. I have no fucking idea. So my theory on voting, as I explained to Seamus before, relates to political entropy, on the basis that there's a lot more ways to fuck things up than to make things better. So statistically speaking, that implies to me you should do kind of very small things very carefully, and try and find the ones that make things better rather than big revolutions. So in general, I just vote for the most boring pencil neck I can find, someone that I don't have to listen to on TV every day or worry that they're going to try and do something crazy. Some complete Poindexter bureaucrat will get my vote. Very good.
So what are you all drinking? I am drinking a Torpedo, Sierra Nevada, Nevada IPA.
I'm on Guinness now, and I'll be switching to Patty whiskey. So.
Very good.
Dead Rabbit.
Of course it's Irish whiskey.
The Dead Rabbit. Very nice. How about yourself, Neil?
I got the Alexander Keith's India Pale Ale.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. This sounds good.
How's the Dead Rabbit, John? Is that one that your missus brought home for you?
Yes, Mrs. Hamill did me a solid with the Dead Rabbit, so I'm enjoying it. But I wasn't well today. I would describe it as a general malaise. The less charitable might suggest that I might have overdone things a little last night, but you fine gentlemen wouldn't suggest anything so uncouth. So I'll just leave it at a general malaise.
General malaise. We'll go with that. I was going to say, the United States of America, you're talking about a second wave. I don't think we ever really got anything beyond a first wave, except a small eddy there in the middle, and our trajectory is straight up.
I'd like to make a quick little thing. A very good friend of mine has popped into the chat. His name is Thomas Bear, and he's known in the chat as Off the Chain Atheist. And he's got a website with all kinds of T-shirt designs, jewelry, stuff like that. Very, very cool stuff. I'm actually wearing one of the rings. He sent it to me free of charge. This sucker right here. And
excellent.
Well.
Hey, we had him on the show, and he didn't give us any free merch. What the hell, Tom?
Wow. Tom is a good guy. Good guy.
Definitely go check it out. If someone there who's a moderator could get that website down and pop it in the chat, that'd be cool.
Is that like a Green Lantern ring?
No, but I do have one of those too, right here.
Right. Sweet. Brightest day and blackest night. Right. Darkest night. Right.
Yep. See, the middle part glows in the dark if you charge it up with the light, and then
Very cool.
It's it's a really cool ring. It doesn't really fit me very well, and I got to get it polished. So it was given to me by one of my fans of my other YouTube channel, the Saris 13 YouTube channel, where I do the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. So and one of my fans sent that to me because it's kind of worn, but it doesn't fit me anymore, so you can have it. And I'm like, all right.
Well, at least it's not a condom.
Right. There's a funny picture going around of a condom that's got a thumbtack through it on the board, and Mom says, "Have a safe night."
Nice.
You're going on a date. Have a safe night. Yeah, thanks, Mom. It's no longer a Papa Stopper. It's now a baby maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Did Neil just disappear from Tons of Mice? I don't know. Did Neil just disappear? No. You're still there. I can see you on the live stream, I believe. All right.
Maybe Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's trying to be funny.
Maybe.
Maybe
So
because
how-
I took up the screen with like this giant ring, and
Oh yeah.
maybe that's when I disappeared.
So what do you got? So Neil, I heard that, or I saw on a tweet that your band needs a new bassist. What's going on with that?
Yeah, there were no like differences of opinion or anything like that. Brian, who was our bass player at the time, he's been with us for almost a year, and he's really, really good. Like he's really good. Like, but unfortunately, our guitar player had to start working Friday nights, so this used to be our jam night, and we had to go to Saturday mornings around 10 o'clock. Which, like, that's not an hour for rock stars. What's wrong with you, Chris? But anyways, it was the only time that everyone seemed to have at the time. But unfortunately, something came up for Brian, which now he can't do the mornings. So we're now searching for somebody that can do the mornings with us for a couple hours every Saturday morning and jam, you know. And Seamus, if you live closer, I'd just stick a bass in your hand and you could jam with us. But,
Yeah, geographically cock blocked as it is. So.
yeah. Well, except we'll call it rock blocked. How's that?
That's better, yeah.
All
I love
right.
how both of you have the fucking wait, I should go that way. The lava lamps in the background there.
Yeah. Mine's a kind gift from my brother Seamus there, as is my T-shirt here. I should explain the T-shirt. There's someone who'll have to remain nameless to protect the guilty. Is really fucking pissing me off, and they happen to be a New York Yankees fan. So I reacted in a very mature and sensible way and just started wearing Red Sox and Blue Jays hats around. And Seamus gave me a bit of a helping hand here with the T-shirt. So he's now the world's greatest comedy hero, according to every one of my 4 children.
Nice.
Just trying to help you out, John.
But as it happens, the only 2 caps I have at home are the Red Sox and the Blue Jays, but that's relevant for both of you guys. You mentioned that before the show started?
I would have thought you'd have a wide collection of cricket teams, or I don't even know what's popular sport besides football over there in Ireland.
Probably rugby, GAA, maybe soccer. But yeah, those folks don't really wear baseball caps.
No.
Well, that's what he meant by football, right?
Yeah.
Soccer ball?
Soccer, yeah.
The soccer ball.
You guys call it footy, right?
Footy.
Because you kick the ball with your
right.
foot, so it makes sense. I don't know why they call the American one football. Should be more like pigskin ball or something, even though it's not pigskin anymore. But or is it?
It could be. It's just a way for those clever atheists to damn all those people. That's what it is.
Wait, did you say clever atheists?
Maybe not so clever. Maybe not so clever.
I had some good luck today. I was digging through a bunch of my coats to figure out which ones I wanted to wear for the fall season because, you know, I have so many to choose from. But digging in one of my long leather jackets, I found what I couldn't find forever and didn't even think to look in the jacket that I originally put it in, the Faithless Forum pen.
Oh, the
There you go.
Faithless
Ah,
Forum
ah,
pen.
Look at that there. Some fine piece of writing utensil right there.
Were you down
One of
at
them-
the Faithless Forum?
Yeah, last year.
Oh, last year. Yeah. I was going to go this year, but
I was going to be a speaker this year. Well, it's bumped till next year, and I'll be on the speakers panel coming next year. So,
oh, very cool.
yeah.
My girlfriend has people down in Texas, and so we would go down there, see her people, and then pop over to the Faithless Farm and see what's up.
You should definitely do it next year, Andy. We can go and have a few beers together, man.
Nothing but trouble, brother. It'd be nothing but trouble.
That's okay. Trust me, that's okay.
Right.
There's lots of people that be getting in trouble with us, so it's okay.
That's good. A mob of troublemakers.
Exactly. Like, I don't know if you're from Mister. I'm not even halfway through a beer, and I'm already having trout mubbles. But I'm not sure if you're familiar with Kristen Frogren. She's one of the moderators on the ACA channel.
Yep.
And
Okay.
yeah, she's going to be there too. And she's expecting a gigantic, juicy hug from me. So I don't know why juicy. I meant squishy.
Yeah.
Something along those. Yeah, Shame's going, I don't know if that's appropriate.
Juicy hug? Wow.
I could just imagine you getting canceled on Twitter out of this whole conversation.
Yeah, right. I meant
juicy,
squishy, folks. Keep your fucking...
A juicy hug sounds like something Rudy Giuliani would offer a journalist.
Oh,
Good timing.
oh, man, I have yet to watch that new Borat. But it looks
I-
like it's funny.
I just saw the
He's
clip
hysterical.
of that. That's everything I've seen of it so far.
It's very creepy. I saw the show. I saw the movie, the new Borat movie.
Oh, really?
The night it dropped, it dropped on 12 a.m., I think, GMT time. And then that made it 8 p.m. on Eastern time here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was able to catch it after the debate on Thursday night.
Oh, there you go. Perfect timing.
Okay. Is it as outrageous as the first one, Andy?
Well, the thing is about it, it's really funny. And my only criticism is that they tried to put in like a story and a plot line and character arc. But it's a solid movie. That stuff with Rudy Giuliani, it's in the third act. It's the topper. It's the showstopper, basically.
Okay.
And definitely worth seeing. Definitely worth seeing.
So I saw the clip with him, and I saw the arguments on Twitter about whether he was tucking his shirt in or interfering with himself, and it looked like both to me.
My impression is that there was enough before that particular incident when he was interacting with Borat's daughter in the hotel room that was really creepy. It's really creepy stuff.
Oh, the context changes the clip that's online. Then, like if you saw what led up to it, would you have a less charitable impression of Rudy?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Definitely less charitable. He is. He's a creepy guy to begin with.
Yeah.
Just to be honest, he is a creepy guy to begin with. And by the end of the bit, you're like, he might have, he might not have, but you just walk away thinking, oh man, I got to go take a shower. Maybe 2 showers.
Was it his excuse that he was just trying to have help with his mic or some bullshit?
That's part of it. If you're acquainted with Sacha Baron Cohen's shtick, what he does is that he leads people along, and that he waits, he sets them up, he tees them up, in other words, for them to say something or do something crazy. And you see the interview between his daughter and Rudy Giuliani beforehand. There's a lot of physical touching with each other. He asks for her number in the bedroom. And then there's physical contact about taking off his mic. So if I was Sacha Baron Cohen, and I'm going to Monday morning quarterback this, I probably would have let the bit go a little bit longer, to tell you the truth. But there's so many legal issues. He every single time he does one of these kind of bits, he always has to talk to his lawyer. There's a really great episode of Mark Maron, Mark Maron's WTF podcast, where he talks with Sacha Baron Cohen, and that guy has like a team of people behind him telling him what he can do legally, what he can't do legally, and how fast he has to run away. So I can see why he didn't let the bit go longer, because I think he was really concerned for her, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I can see that.
For the actress?
For the actress, yeah.
Wow.
I think this is her first major role, and she did exceptionally well. There's actually some clips that didn't make it into the movie. I posted one on my blog, cheap plug, Laughing in Disbelief, on Pathos, where she actually meets Don Jr. Borat's daughter sneaks into the White House for a briefing. She tags along with someone from OAN, which is a right-wing news network. And there's a clip of Borat's daughter saying hello to Don Jr.
Wow.
Yeah, so the guy, he runs a very unprofessional kind of organization in getting what he needs to do, Mr. Sacha Baron Cohen. And I guess he went to official clown school. I guess there's a clown school in Paris where people take their comedy seriously. And you know, he learned his variety of tricks there, apparently.
You realize we're being challenged to a debate by somebody in the chat.
Yeah, that isn't this kind of show. You know,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, no.
I mean, well, actually, I just thought John being the contain. Whenever I look at John online, John's always like taking the piss out of someone on Twitter.
That's fair.
That is fair.
But Seamus calls me the curmudgeonly atheist, and that's also fair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but not so
Yeah.
friendly atheist.
Yeah, just for the record, Veritas, atheism isn't a worldview. It can play into somebody's worldview, but it's merely just a stance on whether or not deities exist. That's all it is. We don't believe in any of them because we're unconvinced by the evidence, and that's.
It's funny how the Christian just assumes that we're attacking Christianity by talking about riffing on Rudy Giuliani. You know,
Yeah,
that just tells you about how messed up politics and religion is in the United States of America, right there.
Yeah.
Because you can definitely shit on religion without shitting on Republicans. A difficult thing to do. It's a difficult thing to do, but possible.
Yeah. It is. I mean, they're separate anyways. I mean, religion and politics should be separate, and they are separate, right? So unless your government becomes a theocracy, which is terrible. Every time there's a theocracy, people die. So
We just did 2 different panels of episodes where we did the right wing kind of side of atheism, and then we had a left wing side, more progressive side. So I mean, it's, you know, there is those avenues. I mean, not everybody's a die-in-the-wool liberal or
Right.
you know.
And some people are just fucking wrong. That's what it is. You know, I mean, you could be a right wing atheist, and I did a video about this. And anyone who's heard my diatribes, and John, you can take the piss out of me if you want to.
Is a right wing atheist.
You know, and they're just wrong. You know, at least here in the United States of America, because the idea that you want to make a failed state, because that's what Republicans want to do in this country. If you want to make a failed state, that's fine, because what you get is theocracy. So, wow, not even a beer in it, I start ranting. Thank you, Veritas, for
stirring the shit pot.
Stirring
Remember,
the
Veritas, those who stir the shit pot often have to lick the spoon. So
What does Veritas mean? Is Veritas is truth, isn't it, or something like truth? Maybe that's wrong. That was a guess. I think it's truth. What does Caritas mean? Sorry,
that's a Googleable question.
Yes, I'm going to Google it immediately.
Good.
Truth and charity.
Truth and charity. There you go.
Yep.
There you go.
That's what it is.
Truth and charity, which religion doesn't own.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
They are empty on the truth more than they are on charity. So you know.
True.
So.
No, Veritas. Atheism is not a worldview. It can play into someone's worldview, but it by itself is not. Sorry. And I don't care how much you cry about it. It'll never change that fact.
True enough. Well said. See, one of us has to be at least sober enough to argue with people in the chat. That's how I look at it. Or at least able to hold their booze enough to be able to argue with people in the chat.
You're going to start juggling chainsaws in a minute. Won't that be fun? That's why I got the wall covered in plastic. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We're all afraid of debating. This isn't the time, dickhead. We're not.
Yeah.
This isn't a debate show.
You know,
Come on, give me a break.
yeah, I just ignore people, to tell you the truth. Yeah. I mean, I mean, you know, maybe it's from my years of blogging that I just throw stuff out there, and a lot of the times I just ignore the comments, or I let people argue in the comment section, and you know, or you know, as against a comedy where you can just, you know, demolish someone on stage, and then they're just too shamed to say anything else, and they just shut the fuck up. But the chat's totally different.
Oh yeah. They've every right to voice whatever opinions they want. I'll never take that away from somebody. But it was very funny. I just did one of the Atheist Roundtable shows just recently, an after party there, and there's a whole bunch of different types of theists in the after show with myself and a couple other atheists, and we're popping questions at them. Well, how do you do this, or how do you resolve this, or whatever? And they're all arguing amongst themselves on which way to interpret the Bible, which is the right way, which is the wrong way. And I'm like, this is fantastic. I'm just going to let these guys chew each other up. And because you know, it's funny when you end up in a position like that. What does that really say? none of it's true.
Absurdity. That's what it says. It just
That's right.
Absurdity.
If people can make you believe absurdities, they can make you commit atrocities. So
Indeed.
I think you're not the first person to say that, Neil. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure.
oh hell no, I'm not the first person to say that.
I know. I'm being facetious.
That fits you.
Well, thank you.
Fits you like a tight shirt for the beach, or I don't know where the hell it's going with that one.
So John Hamill, I have to ask you because
Go
whenever
for
I
it.
have someone from and I'm going to say something horrible, the UK or England or Ireland, whenever I have someone, whenever I know, right, whenever I talk to someone, I always ask them about Brexit and the backstop because I have no idea what's going on in the backstop. I have no idea if it's on the land border, if it's in the ocean, or and for people who don't know what the backstop is, it's basically where the effective border is between the EU and Great Britain. And I don't even know what's going on. And speaking as a Bostonian who would go into who has heard stories of IRA, jars in pubs where people would just throw money in back in the days of the Troubles.
Sure.
It's a concern of mine.
So at the minute, essentially, Boris is screwing over the unionists. That's the bottom line that you need to know. So the unionists in Northern Ireland were very pro-Brexit, but there's a concern among everyone, and I have to say, in particular, Nancy Pelosi played a blinder for the Irish on this issue. So what the UK wanted to do was, as you suggested, Andy, reintroduce the hard border, because at the minute you can drive from Dublin to Belfast and you wouldn't know you'd crossed the border. But if the UK leaves Europe, then essentially the border in Ireland becomes the frontier of the EU, and it's the single market, and you would have to stop all the road traffic and check goods. So it would be like the Canada-US border. And it used to be like that before, which just became something for Republicans to attack. And yeah, nobody wants to go back to that. So what the UK did was a great idea. We're going to leave the EU. Then we'll screw over the Irish because they don't want the border back, but fuck them. And we'll just get a great trade deal with the US instead of having our trade agreement with Europe. So they went over to talk to Donald about that, matching her and all the rest of it, until someone explained to Boris, if you make a trade deal with the US, you don't talk to President, you go and talk to Congress. So yeah, you had to go and talk to Nancy. Nancy invited Boris to guess which finger she was holding up, and then Nancy basically said, there'll be no trade deal if you're screwing over the Irish and reintroducing the hard border. So you can interpret that as solidarity with little old Ireland, or you can interpret that as Chicago and Boston and New York being quite Irish places. I don't really care what the truth is. Maybe it's something in between. But yeah, basically, as a result, the Boris is screwing over the unionists. So would you believe you could, it looks like what the situation will be after Brexit is you would be able to drive between Dublin and Belfast, which ostensibly is driving between Ireland and the UK. You still won't know that you've crossed an international border. It'll just be a free movement area.
Right.
But if you want to go from Belfast to Liverpool, which is internal to the UK, but from the island of Ireland to the UK mainland, then you're going to have to fill out some forms at customs. So
Tell me this, brother. Does that turn Northern Ireland into it's just waiting to be absorbed into Ireland? Is it like no longer like part of the UK ipso facto in terms of how things work? Because it would be insane if I had it as a Massachusetts person. I would have to fill out paperwork to go to fucking Maine.
Yeah. So the way it is, it's going to be like if you had to go to Toronto and didn't know you'd crossed the border, but if you went to New York, you would have to fill out customs forms. You would think, what the fuck's going on here? So that's what it's going to be like. Now, from a sovereignty perspective, people in the north of Ireland will vote in UK elections. They will elect UK representatives. They'll still be part of the UK. It's the customs arrangements that will make it look like a united Ireland. Now, there's lots of people in Ireland who would like to wrap the green flag around them and just make the argument that you just did, Andy, although all of the politicians are at the minute being careful not to say the quiet part out loud.
Right. Well, you're not in the United States of America where certain parties do say the quiet part out loud. So somehow, you guys still look functional in comparison to us. And Neil, fuck you, because you're in Canada and you're not even close to any of this dysfunction. I just want to bring you back in.
I don't know what's the problem there.
He'll say he's sorry in a minute. Don't worry.
Right.
Andy, I'd like to offer up a quick little dote of advice here. My very good friend, Inquisitive Quandary, is in the chat. And he is a fantastic moderator. So if you're going to wrench anyone to take care of these trolls in the chat, he'd be willing to do that with, for sure.
Done.
There you go, IQ. Speaking up for you, brother. Now he's
good.
He's a moderator like all over the place. He's like the moderator extraordinaire.
Fantastic, because I am a Luddite, which I just figured out that's a capital L, how you spell that the other day, and I just basically do my YouTube channel, and I'm just me on my YouTube channel, which is basically a dumpster fire of chaos and dysfunction and maybe comedy in my best moments. And so when you tell me things like maybe you should do this moderator guy thing, then I will accept your judgment on that, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't steer you wrong. Let's put it that way.
I don't.
And Veritas, I'm going to say this last thing I'm going to address you with. If your God was real, he wouldn't need you and any other people that you mentioned in that last comment to argue his existence.
It's ridiculous. That's what it is. It is ridiculous, the idea that an all-powerful, all-knowing deity would need some guy who lives in his mom's basement to argue his case for him. Yeah. It's absurd. That's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah. And if he wants to debate anybody, you could get me on my Twitter handle there. I have the Right to Reason podcast. Buddy Robert Staley does a lot of debates on there, so I'm sure if Veritas wants to come on and debate somebody, I'm sure he'll hook him up. So
I don't really do it because to me there's no debate.
Sure.
But if you do want to debate, you could talk to my very good friend Randolph Richardson, who's president of Canadian Atheists.
Good guy. Yeah.
Randolph's a good follow on Twitter. If anyone's not following Randolph, you got to fix that.
Yeah, he's good people. His wife always sends me home with like food.
Hold on there, Bob. You're going all Pence mode on us here, Neil. Simmer down.
Well, he does live in southern Canada.
Southern Canada.
Just kidding.
I was going to say, I thought it was
Randall.
Mom's basement whenever we had him on the show in the background.
No, it's his basement.
Just kidding. Just joking, Randolph. So.
Yeah, I can hear him fuming already. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually him and I will be doing there you go, Veritas. I'm not entirely sure when, should be within the next couple of months. We're starting in our own call-in show called True North Talk, and you're welcome to check out the channel, and then when you notice that we're up and running and doing our shtick, you're welcome to call in. We'll talk to you then.
The greatest accordion player in North America, Randolph Richardson. I would think Weird Al Yankovic. Doesn't Weird Al play the accordion?
I think you would have something to say about that.
I think there'd be some kind of...
there's a shtick behind that.
The shtick. All right. I understand.
Hey, Weird Al's no joke. I'm telling you, I took my kid to see him twice, and oh my god, fantastic show. I mean, worth every penny. The guy is just amazing. He really is.
Yeah, I've seen him once, long time ago. I've seen him back when I think when the Nirvana "Smells Like Nirvana" song came out back in those days. And he even did my favorite, Yoda.
Yoda, right.
Yoda.
He does about as many costume changes as Lady Gaga too. So
if not more.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that reminds me. There's a question for you, Neil. Last time I was talking to Seamus, we had a conversation about the late great Eddie Van Halen, given the recent news. So Seamus was explaining lots of different technical details about guitars, and that
very poorly, but yeah.
That evolved into a discussion on David Lee Roth versus Sammy Hagar. Where do you come down on that question, Neil?
I'm sorry, Sammy who?
Wow!
That's my first spot, man. Yeah, got that right.
I'm sorry, there's no Van Halen unless it's David Lee Roth.
Amen.
Diamond Dave, indeed.
I even gave Sammy a chance. I went and saw them live in that lineup, and I'm like, I'm sorry, he just doesn't have the presence that Roth had.
Yeah,
right? I mean, he's got his own style, and I like his stuff with Montrose or whatever the fuck.
Exactly.
And I thought that was right, but no, he's not a Halen guy. I don't know if you guys know this, but who the hell was it? I think it was Eddie Vedder. I think was asked to play or sing for Van Halen.
Oh, from Pearl Jam.
Yeah,
that would have been weird.
Yeah. It would have been like.
I don't like Pearl Jam.
You can sing every single Pearl Jam song without knowing any of the lyrics. It's like an AC. It's similar to AC/DC. You don't need you don't need to know any lyrics if you're Eddie Vedder.
Jesus, what's this one? Repent and trust in Christ. He's coming. Ooh, I hope he cleans it up after.
Oh yeah. Nothing but a mess. Nothing. By the way,
there Jesus didn't tap. I like that name. By the way, he was supposed to come back during the time of his apostles. So whoops.
No one in this generation that will pass. Blah blah blah. Yeah.
He couldn't tap out. He was crucified. Come on.
That's right. How do you tap out? You can knock on the board, I guess. I'm done.
Jesus didn't tap out. This is this kind of like testosterone poison Christianity that's so popular now by like 20-something-year-old dudes. It's like, Jesus didn't tap out. Dana White told me that, and he knows because he's from the UFC.
Well, that's the other thing that always cracks me up with, like the neocons that are all, Jesus-y, right? But they always say that they're always against socialism and, any sort of welfare or handouts or anything, right? I'm sorry, didn't Jesus die for you? It's his blood that he's giving to you. Why can't you pull up your own bootstraps and, get past this? Why do you need Jesus to bail your ass out? That's not very Republican.
The girlfriend is here. Uh-oh.
Oh, the girlfriend. That's good. I like the girlfriend. So my sound is still amped up. Is that true, gentlemen? Is that...
That's better, yeah. If you could stay like that with...
Yeah, back away from the mic and... Yeah.
I will back away from the mic.
Drop the beer and back away from the mic.
Back away from the mic. I will do that. Very good. The girlfriend keeps me in check. You might be surprised about that.
Nope, not really.
No.
I've been in those shoes too, man.
All right.
They keep us in check. They keep us from going too AWOL.
Right.
Me and John are suddenly silent on that.
What is this girlfriend you speak of? My wife found out I'd be in trouble.
John Hamill, lockdown in the Republic of Ireland. What's that like? I mean, what does that mean? Does that mean the pubs are closed? Is that all it is? Or
yes, pubs are closed. All retail is closed apart from essentials like the chemist, the pharmacy, and supermarkets for food. You say chemist, Neil?
That's what I do for a job. Yeah.
Oh, very good. I'm from a family of chemistry PhDs, but I'm the black sheep who doesn't know anything about that. But yeah, the change this
That's why
time
we
around
like
is
you.
the change this time around in the second lockdown is that there are fines apparently. So first
They're
time
fines.
round, yes, first time round. There were police checkpoints. So at the minute, you're not allowed more than 5 kilometers from your house. You're only allowed to go out if you have excuse like I'm going to buy food or
Get away from my
so that I
wife.
don't starve. That's right. So yeah, you're not allowed to visit your friends and family.
Jail.
The first time round, there were police checkpoints that would stop people and turn you back if you didn't have a good excuse. Now, apparently, they're going to stop people and issue on-the-spot fines, €1,000 if you're more than 5 kilometers from your house or out without a reasonable excuse.
That. So what was it? €1,000? You said?
€1,000, apparently. Yeah,
Wow.
I haven't heard anyone who's been given fines yet, but yeah, that's the difference this time around. That law wasn't passed in the first lockdown, but yeah, you just get stopped by the cops who would tell you turn around and go home, but there would be no downside. But now they'll tell you here's a ticket, turn around and go home.
I'll say this: I don't even miss a whole lot of things here. I avoid eating in restaurant. I don't even go eating in restaurants. But what I do miss is the pub life. I do miss going in. And it's no surprise to anyone. Start drinking at 3 in the afternoon where there's no one around, claiming your territory, and then maybe being shut off at some point. And it isn't even the drinking as much as the sense of community, and I don't think a lot of people understand that here, that pubs are such an integral part of community.
Our pubs here are open. All the tables are within that social distancing thing, and they've got some blocked off that you can't sit at. Same with our restaurants. And every table has a little thing of sanitizer, and they say they want you to wear masks as you come in, and then when you sit down to eat, you can take them off, and then once you go to leave, you put them back on. And so basically, and everyone's apart enough where you're not going to be spreading anything, kind of thing. So we do have them open here. Same with our restaurants. So I go out for Sunday brunch with my mom every Sunday. So, and tomorrow we're doing dim sum because I have to have chicken feet because I haven't had that in a long time.
Chicken feet. Oh my.
Oh fuck, I love that shit.
Speaking of Sam Hagar, isn't that one of his bands? Was Chicken Feet? Wasn't it?
It's something like that, chicken something.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think it was with not Steve Vai, but one of those guys.
Billy Sheehan was in it, I believe.
Yeah, maybe it was Eric Johnson. Maybe I don't know. It was another guitar guy. Can't think now.
Steve Vai played with David Lee Roth when he went solo, didn't he?
Yep, that was
At least on the first album, right?
Yeah, he
Tokyo
did
Road.
that, and he
Needham
also
Man.
did. Yep, and he also did. I think 1 or 2 episodes of Whitesnake.
Okay.
So,
Probably.
yeah.
There was a
They all
point in
work.
time that everyone was trying to be Led Zeppelin in the
Yeah.
most horrible way possible.
Yes.
Yeah, but what's that new band out now that kind of sounds like them? Or they got
Oh,
labeled? as-
jeez. Fuck. Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah, and they're really good actually.
Yeah, but I tell you what, everybody always gets on Zepp for ripping songs, that they did off, Blues Guys and stuff. All those that Stairway to Heaven thing is all bullshit. And I've
Yep.
got dismissed.
Yeah.
But if you listen or you sample, put side by side, You're the One I Want or something by Greta Van Fleet, and Your Time Is Gonna Come by Led Zeppelin. It's the same fucking, it's just, it's almost note for note or it's total ripoff. And I just can't believe that these guys did that after being compared to it. And the other thing I think is funny, they always like, who are inspired by? Oh, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, What about Zeppelin? Oh, well, we like Zeppelin, but we never really did. if you look at their stuff before they got big, there's videos out there that just doing like cover band stuff of Zepp.
Yeah.
So it's not even, which
Yeah.
everybody does Zeppelin if you can, So
Right.
But-
Yes. I was listening to. I was watching Saturday Night Live, and that dude from the Black Keys. I forget what his name is.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my kid about it. I was watching the Saturday Night Live episode, and I'm going, "Oh, this is this guy's just doing Led Zeppelin, basically."
Yeah.
But doing it well and changing it and morphing it into a modern day context. So in the fact that you don't even know that he's doing Led Zeppelin, and that's the skill there.
I liked the Black Keys for a while, but I think that they've kind of already passed that little hierarchy of their good days. You know what I mean? And also, maybe I'm also sour on them because of just how they are. They are absolutely just pussies. I don't know how to say anything other than that. Look what happened. I don't know if you guys, they were part of the rock and roll induction ceremony bullshit that happened with Steve Miller. And Steve Miller flipped out on how badly the people at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame treated him and his family. And before the whole rehearsal or the show was over, Black Keys are like, "Oh, we're not part of anything that he said. Please be nice to us." This kind of thing. And I'm like, "Fuck off!" Rock and roll is all about this, man.
I will tell you this: the last stand of toxic humanity is comedians. Even the most mainstream comedian like Jerry Seinfeld, who everyone considers to be a nice guy, is so full of anger and meanness.
Sure.
He will say in an award ceremony for Jerry Seinfeld, he will say I feel very uncomfortable doing this. I would rather be in the back making fun of the people in the front. And that's just who we are as performers. We feel very uncomfortable with awards. That's what we do.
So speaking of Seinfeld, one of my favorite things ever, and I finally got to see the whole thing because now there's a clip of it, a full episode of it, whatever. Was him, Louis C.K., and this was before the whole Me Too thing. Ricky Gervais and Chris Rock, where they all just sit down and just talk about the.
Oh yes, I remember that.
Oh, it's fucking fantastic. I love that.
What did they get into
Jerry
trouble
always,
about? They said one of the bad words, I think, and
It is one of the bad words. It's a whole conversation about the bad word. That's what it is.
I can't remember which one was it.
N-word. The N-word.
The N-word. Okay,
Yeah.
it might have been. I thought it might have been the R word. I can't remember who got in trouble for the R word now.
Yeah.
What would have been interesting if Richard Pryor was still alive?
Oh, jeez.
Because he
George
would
Carlin.
still be alive now if it wasn't for the MS, and it would be interesting to see what his interpretation of the current state of affairs. I will say, and this is what I always say when I talk about people about comedy, or when it's Mark Maron. Mark Maron is one of the guys who's he's older than I am, but he's able to interpret comedy to today's audiences in a way that he doesn't get canceled and that no one thinks, he's edgy and everything, but yet he's able to thread that needle in a way that is entertaining, it's funny, and it's still edgy without anyone saying, we have to cancel this guy.
Yeah, I like Mark Maron. So there's still a lot of good guys out there like that, but
Definitely.
it is interesting times though too. And it's a shame, a lot of young comedians are kind of screwed right now because of COVID. They got to find fun ways to make it happen.
Yeah, you remember Leanne Lord was telling us just doing drive-in gigs.
I gotta get Leanne
that
on my
must be
show.
Leanne's
Leanne's solid. She's
fantastic.
She is good. Yeah. I've talked to her a couple of times, and smart, insightful, funny, and what was that, Neil?
Do you have a way to get in touch with her?
Well, yes. I'll say the long answer and the short answer is the same thing. It's yes.
Yes. Could you put her bug in her ear for me? Possibly. Maybe get her to give me a message or something.
You might have to talk to me when I'm sober. I will probably remember this conversation, sir. No guarantees.
That's a step up from I might. So,
I'm writing it down with my hand right now.
I found the best way to get a hold of her is Facebook, actually.
Is it?
Indeed.
Yeah.
And the great thing about this, for anyone who's looking for guests on their show, comedians aren't doing anything right now. Very few are actually doing gigs. There are a few of us who are doing gigs, but most of us are just like sitting around trying to figure out how social media works.
Well, I had Ian on recently, Ian Harris.
Ian is freaking brilliant. That's what that
Yeah,
man is. He is freaking brilliant. I just had Ty Burnett, who does the podcast with Ian, and on my show on Friday, and we had a really good discussion about Richard Pryor as well as Donald Trump, and really funny, smart
Pryor
guy.
can kick his ass.
Yeah, genius guy. Just someone who is really brilliant. But yeah, I'll put, and I already wrote that down. Leanne Lord, Neil.
Yeah. Just I'd love to hear her story too, because I know she's an atheist as well. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and she does this great podcast about caring for elderly people, because a lot of us, who still have parents alive, are stuck in the sandwich generation of dealing with elderly parents and with kids and everything like that. And it's a hard lift. That's what it is. It's a hard lift. And she talks about
Wasn't that Annie? Hard Luck Life.
It's a hard
Indeed.
enough life for us. It's a hard enough life. I'm not gonna start singing.
Don't sing. That's against the Geneva Convention, I believe.
Okay,
We're
well, I don't
America. We don't believe in that.
Yeah. Black and orange Halloween colors. Yes. I don't know where that came from. Hello, David Worley. Speaking of cool people, hello,
David Worley, good guy. There should be like his official title. Good guy, David Worley.
Good God.
Good guy,
David's
David
a great
Worley.
guy, although I'm grateful he missed our soccer ball discussion earlier. He would not have been impressed.
Tell me why, John. Tell me
This is your
why.
book here, by the way. Fantastic
nice.
Fallacies and
Oh,
Where to Find
excellent.
Them by David Robert Worley, right there.
Nice.
So, it's a
Superb.
great cool book.
Unless I'm very much mistaken, David is a professional soccer ball coach.
He is.
Yep. By the way, you can get that book through Amazon.
Oh, bam. Once again, well done, Neil. But David is a professional something or other, soccer ball coach, football coach, whatever, however you want to translate whatever sport that is. So why would he be angry at whatever you were talking about, John?
Because I think our discussion of various flavors of football was grossly incompetent, at least on my side.
Oh. Well, that takes a certain... You see, I'm trying to talk while I'm still in frame as I'm opening another beer. So, how do the... broadly speaking, how do the Irish play football? Is it a physical game for them? Is it a technical game? How does that work?
Sure, I must send you a clip that'll offer a good example. I've sent you that one before. James.
Yeah, I think you sent me one. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's three flavors of football in this part of the world.
One.
There's one.
What's the first?
Number one is soccer ball that you're familiar with. And the second is rugby football, the names of which both have similar derivations. So rugby comes from rugby school where they used to play it, and soccer, I believe, is an abbreviation of the word association. It was formerly called association football. And then in Ireland, there's Gaelic football. How best to describe Gaelic football? So firstly, the pitch is bigger. It's 150 yards long, well more. It's about as wide as a gridiron field is long, and it's 150, 170 yards long. And there's 15 players in the team. You play with a round ball, like a soccer ball, except a bit heavier. And you
Made out of
can
cement.
catch the ball in your hands.
Gaelic football seems like some kind of bizarre sport I've never heard of before.
Does
Does anybody play European handball anymore?
It's a lot more European handball.
Or over in Europe, they probably just call it handball. It's like saying Chinese food. In China, they probably just call it food.
Okay. So yeah, handball's like a Irish sport too. So there's a lot of handball in Ireland.
Yeah, cool. I like that game. That's a fun game.
Yeah. Although if we're thinking of the same thing, the ball's kind of quite hard. It takes a bit of getting used to. Your hand can get very sore. That was my experience anyway, but I'm just a big girl's blouse. Computer guy with soft hands.
I don't think I've ever heard that one before.
That's great. I don't care where you're from. That's freaking hilarious.
Well, speaking of football, I used to play a bit of football. I was Ireland's worst footballer when I was young, and when my coach used to tell me all the time, Andy, was that I couldn't kick back doors for British soldiers. So,
all right,
yeah, bet you can't figure that one out.
My experience doing soccer here in the States, it was a summer class, and the football teacher, because it was extra, it was out of school. I was so horrible at it that the football professor, the soccer professor, took my parents aside and said, "What the hell is wrong with your boy?"
Yeah, well, that was me. When I used to get the ball, like my teammates would shout, "Don't shoot, don't shoot." I was under strict instructions to pass the ball.
Pass the ball.
Do not attempt to shoot under any circumstances.
It's funny because I had, at least in basketball, I had a mean white boy game in which that means I could foul really well and shoot 3-point shots. So people could feed me the ball from 3-point land, and I could do a pretty decent shot as long as no one else was around me. It was completely unexpected, but otherwise I was absolutely useless.
Well, there you go. In Belfast, they would have told you can't kick back doors for British soldiers. So that if the British Army was going to raid your house, they would very frequently kick the back door in. So that expression means your footballing skills are insufficient to kick a back door successfully.
Well, Andy, his big sport, if you don't know what John likes real well, is Formula One. He's a big Lewis Hamilton fan.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I don't know if you're familiar with Lewis Hamilton.
That fucking guy.
Explain it to him, John, or do you want me to?
So he's the current world champion. If you know Formula One, it looks kind of like IndyCar.
No, I saw the Christian Bale movie. What is Ford and Ferrari?
Ford and Ferrari. Okay.
Which is a really good movie. And anyone here in the chat, if you want to see a decent movie with Christian Bale in it, who's weighing maybe 110 pounds in that film, it's worth seeing to give you a good idea about Formula One racing. But I could just be talking out of my butt, John.
Well, I haven't seen it for ideological reasons. Well, look. So
every single conversation with an Irishman is that, I haven't done, or I did do something for ideological reasons right there. I like that.
So here's my complaint about that film. So the story about the rivalry between Ferrari and Ford is that in those days Ferrari was just Enzo Ferrari in his garage, more or less. So there was this dude in rural Italy who was building these engines and cars that was just beating Ford every year. And the might of the Ford Motor Company was throwing lots of money to try and beat Ferrari. And Ferrari won and won and won for nearly a decade. And then eventually Ford won the race. And then they made the movie about the one fucking year when Ford won the race. As if that's the story of the decade, Anyway.
Are you trying to say that was an American-centric movie? The one time America won?
But tell them why you love Hamilton, though, and not the
So
music.
honestly, if you had to listen to Hamilton, like he's a very devout Roman Catholic. He has lots of
Sorry to hear
religious
that.
tattoos that he lets to show off. He's also the current champion, and firstly, he's very, very bling bling, which upsets me. Lots of extremely heavy gold chains and diamonds and things like that. But then, like, some of the religious comments that he made just drive me up the walls. There was like,
Example.
so there's a race. It was the German Grand Prix a couple of years ago, and he was in second place. At which point a deluge came down, and the car in front, which happened to be a Ferrari, but we'll not talk too much about that. The car in front skidded off, and he won the race. So everyone knew after the race that he got very lucky with this rain shower. So he went straight over to the microphone to do the interview, and knelt down and said a prayer, and then said, I prayed before this race that something would happen to help me out. And then a biblical storm came during the race, and I won. And I would say, what are you saying, you dick? And then, in really poor taste, there was a driver called Jules Bianchi who died 3 years ago. Died in the car in an accident during one of the races that Hamilton was racing in. And not too long after that, Hamilton was in a big shunt, quite a big crash, but he was fine. And of course, you do the very next interview, and he said, I was praying that morning, and I really felt the hand of God was over me during that crash. And what does that mean? God hates Jules Bianchi or something? It just fucking drives me mad. But anyway, and also he's in the wrong car, which doesn't help. But anyway,
I apologize. Our F1 driver Jacques Villeneuve decided to move over to the European NASCAR circuit instead. Otherwise,
really?
he'd be handing Hamilton his ass by now. So.
Yes, and his father was a big Ferrari hero as well. So I always liked Jack, although he unfortunately beat Ferrari. You remember that incident with Schumacher in the last race? Was that Japan? Yeah. So I suspect I was on the other side of that particular tangle from you, Neil. But apart from that, yes, Jack is great value when he does the commentary. He doesn't pull any punches. He's he's great to listen to.
Yeah, he is for sure. He's your typical French Canadian, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Typical French Canadian.
Yeah, that could be taken so wrong.
He's like John said, he doesn't hold his tongue. He speaks whatever's on his mind.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that personally. I think that people who speak their mind, it is refreshing in this world that people are honest.
Shut up, Andy. Just trying to funny shit up here, folks. That's all.
Well, that's why you're here. You're here to punch up the material, Neil. That's what you're here for. You're here to punch things up.
The guy you're referring to, he's not the one that him and Hamilton had a row over the whole Black Lives Matter thing, is it? Or is that somebody else?
That I'm unaware of. So maybe I couldn't give you an answer to that. I'm not aware of that if that did happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whenever you guys think of, say, Hamilton, the first thing that I come to is that musical, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And I'm going what song are we talking about right now? I don't remember any kind of internal combustion engine in Hamilton.
A lot of wigs, though. A lot of wigs.
Oh, a lot of wigs. A lot of wigs.
I've never seen it. I've heard some of it because my kid's really into it. Obviously, being
The
theater.
Hamilton?
Yeah.
My kid is so into there's a whole there's this whole stage, child psychologists in the future, maybe even now, will say there's a Hamilton stage of development for preteens, and they are just glomming onto this person, and this show, it is remarkable.
Well, to be fair, I've never seen it, but I think I know enough about it to at least comment on to a point that one thing I'm happy about it is that we need more of this idea that the founding fathers were actually fucking people. They were incredibly fallible people too. So this whole idea of that, they were like the 12 freaking disciples, it needs to go away. You know what I mean? They were very fallible people. We are quite frankly lucky we got what we got from them to start this nation, really. And I'm not trying to say that they were like, okay, maybe that's a little too harsh. I mean, yes.
Be harsh.
Yeah.
Dude, they're human. Humans are fallible.
I'm about to be harsher, so go ahead.
Especially Thomas Paine. Fucking fantastic. I have more good things to say about him than the others because I'm an atheist, obviously. But,
right.
Jefferson and such also had a lot of, good contributing things. But they're so fallible. There's so many flaws. And,
they're human.
They're fucking, yeah, exactly. They're fucking human beings.
I feel like I'm a second commandment atheist and that I do not make idols. I do not make idols out of people. And if you're an atheist and fanboying over, and I am so this is one of the many reasons why I'm unpopular, gentlemen. If you're like fanboying over people, I would be like, you gotta smash your idols, the first and foremost.
Andy, I fanboy over you all the time. What are you talking?
Well, that's okay then, as long as you contribute to my Patreon account. Notice how capitalism. Notice how No, I don't, because I don't. The things I don't talk about is my crappy Patreon account. I don't talk about the fact that I'm a vegetarian. I am horrible at self-promotion, and the thing is that I feel like the message is more important than who I am in the world, and the fact is that. A lot of our problems as a species is that we make idols out of people, and that is just.
So you're a vegetarian?
Wrong. Yeah, dude. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, no, kudos to you if that's what you choose to do. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's funny because a while back, when Andy first announced it on his channel, I kind of made a little joke because I know Andy would appreciate it because he likes my style of humor. I said,
do.
More bacon for me. And then all of a sudden, one of his fans just fucking wrote a diatribe of shit about me. I'm like, whoa, dude. Dude,
yeah.
chill out.
Yep,
relax. It's just a joke, man.
It is a joke, and the idea is to keep it light, right?
Yeah.
The idea is to keep it light and to keep it playful, because I think a hallmark of intelligence is play. It is to be playful with ideas and concepts, and yeah, a lot of people just come on. Maybe that person just came on the channel for the first time, saw your comment, and didn't get the context of the joke. Maybe,
Possibly.
Yeah.
I even replied and explained, look, I'm friends with Andy. He knows I'm kidding. He knows it's just a little bit of fun, just making light of a situation a little bit. It's not a big deal. And he's like, I don't fucking care, blah, blah, you're a horrible human being. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, you don't even know me, dickhead.
So Tons of Mice says, I'm a patron of Andy, and I put him on a train to a death camp. As well you should, sir. As well you should. Well said.
John used to be a vegetarian, right, John? Is that
That's
the
right.
way of saying it?
That's right. I can't remember, was it 2 years or 3 years? And then I went back to eating meat quite recently.
I found it difficult to actually lose weight being a vegetarian because I love cheese so much.
Oh, I went the other way. I put on a lot of weight when I went vegetarian. I ended up eating just a lot of potatoes and pasta.
Oh, potatoes and pasta. I had a serving, what I thought was going to be pasta the other night, but it turned out to be that spaghetti gourd, the spaghetti, I don't even know, what is it, spaghetti squash? And I was like, oh, I thought I was getting wonderful, delicious carbs out of this, but instead I'm getting something healthy. This is wonderful.
Damn it. And I went and had eggs and bacon for breakfast today. So here's my contribution. This is my snack for the afternoon before I go live on my show later on. Is this half-pound Reese's peanut butter cup right here. So there you go.
Nice.
the biggest fucking thing ever. And yeah, this is like a meal, literally.
Oh,
And
yeah.
It's
Use
an
it as a
artery
doorstop.
clogger. Yeah, you could. If it's snowing out and you don't have snow tires on, you can throw this in the back of the car. It'll weigh your car down.
So, Neil, did you do any sport when you were younger, or did you?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
What did you do?
Well, being that my dad was an umpire in the local youth baseball league, and we lived right across the street from the baseball diamond, I was in baseball for about 8 years as a kid.
I was talking about sport, not baseball, sir.
Oh, sorry, but I played. All right, well, you see, around here, baseball is a sport, and
And that's the
baseball.
miracle of comedy right here. Neil, for those of you who didn't pick that up, Neil just went right over that and just continued on the shtick. Well done, sir. Well done.
I was terrible at it for the first 6 of those years, though. Although I did hit a home run to win 2 games in my career in early years of baseball. I got carried around by the team, and I think my favorite part of all of it was the case of the pop shop, pick a pop, fucking pop that the coach used to go and get us for, which is soda down in the U.S.
Thank you.
Right, with the grape soda, the lemon soda, lime soda, and we had wild cherry soda, which was always my favorite. And everyone got a nice soda after the game, whether we won or lose, which I thought was really cool. And I also played soccer, or as you folks in the UK call it, footy. I was a goalkeeper. I was terrible. We usually lost because I was not as big as I am now back in the day. So I only played that for a couple of years. But we always played it when it was like fucking snow and shit falling. So I was like, this sucks. So I just got out of soccer and stayed in baseball. And I did a little basketball, but I wasn't tall then, so I was terrible at that too. Wasn't very coordinated as a kid. And then I tried a little football later on, and like American type football or Canadian football.
Right.
We also have football here, and that was a lot of fun. Yeah,
I'm surprised you weren't conscripted into hockey. You weren't
too expensive apparently.
Hey.
Although I played in a street hockey league. We had a team that where the local neighborhoods used to have their own little league we'd put together, and we'd play each other and have a championship and everything. And I was a goaltender for that as well. Much better as a hockey goaltender.
Street hockey.
You play roller or feet?
Just feet.
Feet.
Yeah.
So I did
Rollerblades
roller.
weren't
I did
even
roller
invented
hockey.
yet, man.
I did roller hockey locally. Actually played for the one community thing we had, and then I went to WVU and played ice hockey, but I blew out my knee in what do you call it, camp. Made the first cut. I was happy about that. I never played ice hockey before. Literally, just first time I was ever really, playing on the ice. I mean, I'd skated before, but I made the cut, and we were doing off ice conditioning, and we were on the track, and a guy in front of me, don't know why, just stopped, and I went to stop, so I wouldn't hit him, and my knee just went the other way, and that was it. So.
He stopped.
Yep.
And
he was right in front of me, and I was trying not to hit, run into him. So I tried to stop, but when I did, my knee went, and I was, And I didn't have insurance at the time, so I didn't know how to rehab it. And man, I'm telling you what, like it's raining out here now, and I'm like so thankful it's raining because I mean I need like a total, replacement of this.
Sun,
yeah.
So when Seamus says he didn't have insurance, from John and Neil, the 604 Atheists, what is your reaction to that? I didn't have insurance.
Sucks to be you.
Wow.
That's not very Canadian of you.
Not very Canadian.
I know. I'm giving us knuckleheads a bad light here right now. And Tons of Mice says, I'm next. I have no idea what that means. I'm looking for the little red dot that might be coming in through the window.
Because the thing is, from what I understand of people who are not in America, in industrialized or post-industrialized states, y'all are pretty much covered. It may not be like pristine coverage, but you're covered. And I have to tell you, I'll tell you this joke, this crappy joke. Right after my divorce, I was dating this woman who, and dating is a very liberal term, and she didn't have any health insurance, and I was saying that my sexual fantasy with her is that she'd have health insurance.
What does that say about you, Andy?
Nothing but dysfunction. Nothing but dysfunction. That's what it is. But in a way, is that completely foreign to you guys?
For me, yeah, because I have health insurance. As soon as you turn of age where you're on your own and pay for your own stuff, you go right to BC Medical Board and you sign up, you get your card, and you're covered. Doesn't matter what it is. I think back then I paid $80 a month. That's it.
$80 a month.
Now it's like 160 something. I think we pay, or $180 or something. But my work takes care of it. I have my BC Medical card, and all my payments come right off my check, and they match half of it. So I only pay half of it, and they match the other half. And
Sweet.
I have dental coverage, which is 80% dental coverage, up to something like $3,000 a year. And any prescriptions that I do, like I'm going to get my flu shot November 5th. I'm scheduled to go get it. And I can bring the receipt in. They'll pay me back for it at work. They cover all my prescriptions, anything like that. If I have to pay, like my prescription for my psoriasis stuff is over $100, but I pay like $24 of it. But I can bring that receipt into work, and they'll give me the $24 back. So it pays to live in Canada. Let's put it that way.
But does it pay better to be in the Republic of Ireland, John? I'm causing trouble now. Besides, between
What
you.
did I say about stirring the shit pot earlier, Ed?
That's all I do. That's all I do, brother. I just stir the shit pot.
So the way it works here is there's kind of a mandatory minimum, which I believe is to discourage kind of casual use of emergency services and things like that. So I'm going to guess at the figures here, but I think the last time I went to A&E, one of my kids broke a collarbone or something. I think it was €80.
You shouldn't be beating them so much, John. That's your problem.
Yeah, well, I think it was €80, and the way it works is there's a minimum fee. Everyone pays €80 if you go into A&E in the hospital, but it doesn't matter what you need done. You don't pay any more than that. And then for drugs, I get a high-tech drug. I take injections for rheumatoid arthritis every week, and it's a very expensive drug. I know. I think if I wasn't getting any assistance from the government, it's something like $60,000 a year US, but it's I think 120 we pay for prescriptions, and again, once you pay that, you never pay any more. 120 a month, and that then covers you for anything. So if any of my kids need any medicine, or my wife needs a prescription or antibiotics or whatever it happens to be, once your household is paying this minimum fee per month for drugs, then nobody pays any more.
Nobody pays any more after you pay a minimum.
That's right. And I think that, as I understand it, the purpose of the minimum is they don't want people rushing off to A&E, the emergency room for every little thing. It's supposed to be an actual emergency. So that's as I understand why you have to pay some cash. But then some people have insurance as well. And what the medical insurance is for is if, for example, you have to go in for some procedure and you want a private room and you don't want to be on a ward or something like that, then you can pay insurance every month, and once you go into hospital, you'll get a private room and stuff like that.
This is why I tell my American friends here is that typically in other countries there is if you are poor, everyone is covered by a certain amount of insurance, and then people who have money will be able to pay into a system that gets them a different level of care. I don't think that's the same thing in Canada, but in most countries, there's a two-tier system, basically. One, everyone is covered, and two, if you got some extra bucks, you can pay for something extra.
Mm-hmm.
Neil,
Yep,
he's
I think
looking
that's
at.
a fair description.
I'm just.
You're looking at porn, Neil. I know what you're doing. You're doing some kind of like. Oh, that's what you're doing.
Doing gummies.
Sweet.
He was looking at porn. The handkerchief was going to come off. Look, clean up.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
There you go.
Nice.
Oh my.
That's become a verb now, hasn't it? Tubing.
Tubing.
Yeah.
What the hell is he thinking?
Are you tubing
the hell?
there, Neil?
What's that? In Canada, we call it pulling the goalie.
Empty in the net, yay.
Was it Bill Maher that made tubing a verb? It might have been Bill Maher.
I don't know.
If it wasn't a verb beforehand, then I would
is
imagine
now.
Bill Maher. It is now. Yes, it's ridiculous. That's what it is. It is absolutely
I just can't believe he
absurd.
did that. That's crazy.
Well, the camera flipped down, Seamus. How can you blame him? The camera just happened. Like if I just did this, and then it's like, hey, what's hands
What did I
up?
miss?
Nothing much, Neil. Nothing much.
Ooh, that was
Hugely
a
embarrassing,
little
but he never hurt anyone, I suppose.
He never hurt anybody, but the thing is, it's like, Christ on a cross, can't you just keep it in your pants for 5 minutes? Just for... And,
After that, you can bring it back out again. Everyone likes snakes, right?
so, and I'm going to throw this out there as a rhetorical bomb. When you guys had Mr. Silverman on, you didn't just say you couldn't just do the thing and you wouldn't have any problems right now, you know?
Well,
How did you navigate that? How did you navigate that?
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear
That's
this.
fair.
Well, in fairness, I didn't kind of pose any. I'm trying to think how to frame this properly, but Seamus was more forward than me in terms of challenging.
He's nothing but a problem. That Seamus guy.
I went out entirely, but there was two sides. There, one was. Here's these things you've been accused of, which are like crimes, and if this is true, you should go to jail. And then the other side of it was the stuff that you've admitted to. All sounds completely mad to me. There was part of the conversation where and we've had this conversation with more than just David. Seamus, I think it's fair to say, where I was trying to figure out. You see this whole polyamorous thing, like to my mind, that's largely an American phenomenon.
What, you're not all polyamorous in Ireland and in the Republic?
Man, it's not even just Americans. Every single person that I've heard talk about being poly is an American atheist. There's something going on with American atheists. I don't know what the hell is happening, but yeah, we asked a few questions along those lines. Basically, what the fuck were you doing anyway? Like, even so the premise was, look, you've been accused of these things, and there's kind of a he said, she said, and I'm not a detective. I can't figure out who's telling the truth, but even if everything you said is true, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's
So Seamus, don't dive out on this. You know, you. I mean, I have on a very good.
I thought he was going to say something that I asked when we were off the show. I'm glad he didn't. Because I said it's probably the best question I've ever asked, but we can't really go into that. That sounds bad to our laughing, but it was funny. Trust me.
Well, I kind of went out, and in the recorded show that's up there, Seamus, I kind of went out and you asked the more forward questions. I think that's fair.
Well, I do think that to piggyback on what you're saying, John, about this whole the poly movement or the Atheist Plus movement, I think is also it's been called. Maybe I'm conflating two different communities. The other thing is, people weren't playing by quote unquote rules that led to a lot of bullshit that just enveloped a whole other layer of bullshit, and here we are. So it's I don't know. Maybe maybe don't engage in that activity if we're going to end up here. I don't
Gentlemen,
know.
I'm
not trying to be a prude. Okay, I'm very much a hippie. I mean, fuck who you want and be happy as long as everybody in the pool is happy with the rules and doing X, Y, and Z, on par. Have at it. Suck fuck all day long. I don't care.
I agree with that, Seamus.
But it was just, I don't know.
On one level, there was the look. If that's all true, David, everyone's a consenting adult, and therefore it's none of my business. But also, I mean, you're asking me to follow along with this story here, and it's fucking mental.
Yeah, we kind of like about some of the different verbiages and why spitting in somebody's mouth was a good idea. I don't know. I've never once thought, God damn it, I want to spit in that woman's mouth. Not once, I swear. I just not me. But hey, I don't know.
So gentlemen, John, not you, Neil. I would never consider you to be part of this gentleman club here.
Yeah, no one's ever accused me of being a gentleman.
But no, we'll include it. I mean, so this whole vibe from the conversation you had with Mr. Silverman, did he just go, and I've seen it before with other people, with another person, that they decided to go conservative or a different mode of thinking and just a whole nother way of being on social media because of the fact they got into trouble. Do you think he went conservative? Yeah. Well, you're saying yes, John. I see you nodding.
I'm nodding because I understand the question, and I was maybe a little unfair to David because I kind of introduced him as someone on the right and a conservative because that's what I got from his Twitter feed. But maybe I was putting words in his mouth there because during our discussion on political matters, I think it's fair to say, Seamus, he was equally critical of both candidates, and he declared himself to be undecided.
Yeah, I know he's definitely anti-woke, which me and you both are, but I don't think either of us would be.
What the fuck is woke? I don't even get
well,
that.
That's just 1 second. We can address all that.
No, carry on.
Sure, no, that's fine. But truthfully, me and John are very much left, and actually, believe it or not, we both took that. What is that pie?
Oh yeah, we put a dot on one of those quadrant things.
Because everybody accused us of being like right wingers after I forget what episode we did. Anyways, but I was actually more left than he is, and everybody was assuming the other way around, which I thought was kind of funny. But the whole woke thing,
alt-right adjacent. That's what we were accused of being, Seamus. Whatever that is, alt-right adjacent.
Yeah, I methink
alt-right adjacent. I'm intrigued by that term.
Well, you can go down the woke way if you want to explain that to him first. The alt-right adjacent.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
Okay.
But we, who did we have on that we got accused of that? I can't remember.
I can't remember either. Wasn't it Zach? Without going down that rabbit hole that called us that, or was that somebody else?
Might well have been.
I don't know.
Can't remember.
But the whole.
I'm going to come back on your guys' show one of these days.
Yeah. We need to.
I don't even know why we don't drink on your show. This is like cheap peer pressure. But
we do drink on our show.
Well, you should have us all on
I
your
drink
show.
on every show. I don't even know.
You do. Have you been to a 12-step program, Neil? Have you been to one? Maybe you need to have a higher power of some kind.
A higher power.
A higher power.
Gummy
bears?
You ever
Gummy bears.
Valerie Tirico, Needle?
Ever, I'm sorry. Could you restate the question?
Valerie's great.
Valerie Tirico?
Don't think I've heard of that.
Okay. She has a background in psychology. I think she's written for Slate, Salon, a shitload of different people. But she wrote an article called "The Woke and the Righteous," I believe what it's called, and the idea that this whole woke movement is now becoming very much a religion, right? Because you can have sins, which are not agreeing with Black Lives Matter on everything,
Aren't flat earthers considered woke?
Would you say flat earthers are woke? Well,
Oh,
they
I
could be.
see what you mean.
They
Yes,
claim to be.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like red pilling. Wake up, man.
Red
yes.
pilling in the most freaking stupid
Yeah.
way possible.
Indeed.
If anyone was going to have skepticism wrong, which we've been talking about way before red pilling was a
Yes.
thing,
Yeah.
it's like, red pillars, you're doing it wrong. You're just not paying attention to the data points. That's what you're doing. It infuriates me. It just infuriates me.
Yeah, we know this, right? You could be an atheist and not be a skeptic.
Yep.
I mean, that's pretty clear.
Oh yeah, I know.
Okay, we have a lot of atheists that are not skeptic, and even ones that claim to be skeptic on a lot of things, but then are also very tribal on others. And I would
Yep.
say woke is one of the things that they kind of fall into, or at least some of us in the movement.
Okay, sure.
And you can, and this idea that if you don't, red pill?
Red pill is
agree,
insanity.
Agree.
So it's just this idea that you have to agree with everything that's hashtag Me Too. You have to agree with everything that's Black Lives Matter. There's microaggressions. Have you ever heard the term microaggression?
Yes, I
I've
have.
heard of
being
it.
Triggered. All this extreme kind of ideas is it's like what third wave feminism is another way of explaining it. Right?
But hold on, though. I do agree with Me Too, and I do agree with Black Lives Matter.
You can agree with all those things and still not be on the wokest side of it. You know what I mean?
I agree with the movement behind them for sure.
Sure.
Skepticism, and I'm going to say the circular logical thing right here is like skepticism is skepticism. And you can say that overall, I can understand that we live in a culture where women have been persecuted.
Yes.
And that, yes, if I'm going to grade or if I'm going to gauge an assertion, I might pay a little bit more attention to a person who has been underprivileged or who's been victimized over time.
Okay. Well, how about this for an example? Okay.
Tell me.
So New York or NYU, I believe the start of this most recent semester, decided that the white students weren't woke enough to be around the minorities. So now that there's certain times when minorities can take part in these cyber cafes and different events that they have, and black folk and other minorities can take part in another time. So in a sense, they're being so woke that they're racist because they're actually creating a pool of segregation.
It's just that's still segregation.
That's
about
the kind of insanity.
getting everyone together so we can demonstrate that we can all get along.
Right. Yeah, that's the kind of insanity that
if I was going to push the Overton window here in the States, and the thing is, I understand, and I'm going to get into some gobbledygook kind of linguistic talk here, is that the Overton window here in the States, it's very different from what it is in Canada and what it is in Ireland. And so that means that I would say various leftist things here that would push the conversation to the left that I may not have to say in Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, and in Canada. And in that way, I'm not advocating for what was it, New York University, NYU?
Yeah, NYU, yeah.
But in general, I would say that the talking points that I want to, and John's going to take the piss out of me out of this right now, and you should, sir, right? You should. Is that when I talk about leftist policies here in the United States of America, I want to push the conversation to the left.
Just let me, hang on, before John responds, I just want to get my popcorn.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. Because John's going to say, like, is that skepticism, Andy? Or is that just trying to propagate bad ideas that just happen to be in your camp of politics?
No, I completely understand all of that. Andy is entirely well intentioned. Where I would disagree is I just think it's always a good starting point to treat people as individuals rather than representatives of their identity. So, like to say, well, women have been treated historically badly, so I'm going to treat the next woman I meet really well in comparison to the next person standing beside her. Or, you apply this to any group that has been treated badly in the past, and then somehow, because people you might meet today have tick the same identity boxes, you're going to make up for past wrongs by treating the people in front of you differently or something. To me, that seems very well intentioned, but my preference would be just to treat everyone as an individual.
It is difficult to do that, and I'm not saying I've spent the last
Really
hour and a half.
I do it all the time. I do it all the time.
Here's the nub of the conversation for the last hour and a half that I've been hoping to get to. Let's say you're in Northern Ireland. Would you say that the Catholic population there has been treated fairly by the government of the UK?
Historically, no, but I don't believe I'm entitled to any special treatment for that. So, like, do you believe this group or that group has been treated well in the past? The answer to that question is no for every single person on Earth, because the past.
Say that again. Say that again, because I'm a couple of beers in. And so I'm a little slow right now. Say that again, please.
Do you think Catholics in the north of Ireland were treated well by the UK government in the past? Okay, the answer is no. But if you pick any group on Earth, any identity group on Earth, so you just picked Roman Catholics in the north of Ireland, you can pick gay people, women, you can pick any group based on nationality, based on religion, based on ethnicity, based on whatever, and ask, were they treated well in the past? The answer is no for everyone, because the past was fucking shite. Mm-hmm. So
okay. Well, let's not do a false equivalency here. Is that the past has always been crap, but all pasts are not equal. There seems to be at certain times some people have been in charge and putting their thumbs down on certain groups.
Well, name them.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll say that during the 1970s, during the Troubles, is that it's obvious that, excuse me for saying that it's obvious, but there are definitely soldiers in the UK going over to Northern Ireland, keeping Catholics down under the guise of keeping the peace.
Okay, good example. So there are specific examples of what I'm going to mention now. Where there are British soldiers who behaved badly and committed crimes, they should be prosecuted for those crimes. The end. That does not imply that British people are responsible for it. It means one British soldier who committed a crime has to be prosecuted for it. It does not imply that Irish Catholics need to be compensated because one British soldier did a terrible thing to one Irish Catholic. That's why I say name them. When you get into these identity groups, then every identity group has a grievance. And I don't say that to dismiss it. The grievances are real, but I can't fix it. So I just think it's much better to treat people as individuals rather than representatives of their identity. So
tell me this. So when I order a black and tan at a proper Irish pub here in the States, not even in the States, in Boston, where people someone might understand what the black and tans are. Yeah. Should I prepare an oral defense of why I like a black and tan?
So there's a good example, because the black and tans are gone now, but they did terrible things. So if anyone doesn't know who the black and tans are, they're a British paramilitary group who did terrible things in Ireland and committed lots of murders on behalf of the British state. So again, who's when I say name them, none of the people involved in that are alive now. So,
but there is a system that that supported them. There was a system that said that we're going to put all of these people into the Republic who are these veterans of World War I, undereducated, underprepared for proper policing, and there was a systemic, an institutional kind of if you don't say racism, then at least kind of sectarianism.
No, racism is probably fine. And yeah, a century ago, the British system did terrible things in Ireland. And a century before that, they did other terrible things. And a century before that, they did other terrible things all over the place. Like, so what? Like
colonialism. Or,
Yeah.
So what?
What's that got to do with me?
Yeah,
and more to the point, if there's, like, I can't even remember what I age. I'm 47 or 48. I was born in 73. So let's say I run into a Londoner tomorrow who's born in 73. To what degree is he responsible for what the black and tans did a century ago? So my answer is precisely fucking zero, because he didn't do it.
I want to push back on this, and this that if I am benefiting from the effects of the black and tans or of systematic racism here in the States, and I know I'm doing a shuffle step here, then the institution that I have benefited from owes those folks something. Tell me I'm wrong, John.
I think you're deeply and profoundly wrong, because there's
good. I like that.
There's absolutely no way to do that calculation. Let me give you a good example why there's no way to do that calculation. Seamus and I did an episode recently about the sack of Baltimore.
Sack of Baltimore, very nice.
Okay, it's Baltimore in Ireland, not Maryland. So there's a small town called Baltimore in County Cork.
Is that a Lord Protector kind of thing? When was that?
Here's the story. It was 1630 something. This happened. A ship sailed from Africa, landed in Baltimore, County Cork in Ireland, sacked the village of Baltimore, took over 200 Irish people as captive slaves, returned to Africa, sold them in the slave markets in Africa, where they lived out their lives as slaves in Africa. Where's my check, Andy? Who do I ask for a check for that?
The freaking Brits. So Neil, there's 604 atheists. I don't want to think that you're immune from this argument, sir, or this discussion. I mean, you have a lot of native peoples there, and when I was coming up, there was the Northwest Territory. But from what I understand, it's not the Northwest Territory anymore.
No. It's we still have Northwest Territories, but we also have none of it.
None of it, right?
Territory right there. We got a Yukon. We've got it's been split up. We still have it, but the First Nations people here in Canada have been treated like shit for centuries, and they're still being treated that way in some places here, and that's why whenever I do a Black Lives Matter type thing, I also include First Nations people's lives matter as well. Here in Canada, it's horrifying.
And I just want to say I have stirred the pot, and I apologize for that because I'm just a shitty comedian.
Stirring the pot's good, Andy. Stirring the pot's good.
All right, I appreciate that because I want to let you know that that's all I do, to tell you the truth.
It instigates some constructive conversations about these things, I think. So even if you stir up the pot a little bit, at least we're all here, we're all level-headed enough, even under the influence of alcohol, we can at least discuss this in a sober fashion.
Let me ask the question, John, because me and John disagree about things a lot. Believe it or not. Okay,
I believe it. Believe me, I believe it.
Well, I mean, I told you this before because you made a point how John can be ferocious and all this, and it's true. Me and him will go rounds for like weeks. And John, if I'm mischaracterizing, jump in. Via Twitter, just message each other back.
Yeah.
and it could get fucking vicious. But I mean, we have, at least I don't think I'm saying this to be more than kind, that we have a level of respect for each other where,
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, we could get done from one paragraph of, no, you are fucking wrong, to, hey, how's Marie? Is everything good at home?
Exactly.
Because just that's how we are. Okay, so let me push back maybe a little bit on John, or at least ask a question. So if you compare what Andy is, and Andy, you can yell at me, to what Andy's trying to compare as far as like the systematic racism of black folk here versus the Catholics in Northern Ireland. Has the system, so to speak, changed since the Black Italians and stuff have left? Is it changed to where if you're Catholic, you can now actually succeed without any kind of hindrance, or at least to that level, as opposed to it was 10, 20, 30, I mean, I don't know how many years. Where is that at right now? I mean, I'm honestly, I'm asking as an honest question. I don't know.
No, it's a good question. Historically, levels of employment and wealth and housing and everything else would be very, very different between the Catholic and Protestant communities. Is it leveled up now? I doubt it because of the historic wealth. I mean, people talk about intergenerational wealth. So, if your family owns a lot of land with a lot of tenants and a lot of property or stuff like that, then that's not going to change in 1 or 2 generations. But I don't think it has to. I mean, if I look at my kids, if nobody discriminates against them and they get a fair go, then just because someone else has a bunch of money that they've had in their family for generations, all I would want for my kids is nobody would discriminate against them and give them a fair go. And if that's not the case, and my understanding is there's lots. I mean, if you do the comparison with the States, it probably wouldn't hold up on the race side. So there's lots of situations where there's race-based discrimination, and as I understand it, that's illegal, and that should be prosecuted, and people should be punished, and that's the way to deal with it.
But is there like sectarianism where you can't get housing, you can't do X, Y, and Z because you're Catholic? I mean, is that still a thing now?
Well, I don't think there's the same public policy thing. So that in the civil rights era in the 60s in Ireland, they basically copied the civil rights model from the States. So they would march with the same banners looking for one man, one vote, and they didn't have one man, one vote. So the way it would work was if you took a city like Derry, it had a large Catholic majority, but the politicians elected included a large Protestant majority. And the way they did that was they said that it wasn't one man, one vote. You got a one vote per household. But then they arranged discrimination in public housing. So you had 4 or 5 families all crammed into the same Catholic household, and all of the Protestants got 2 houses for every kid kind of thing. And therefore you have a large majority Catholic population, but on the city council you had a large majority of Protestant
Well, it's apartheid. I mean, it sounds like apartheid.
Yes. So all of that stuff's gone now. There's a fair employment
our
commission.
founding fathers did too. Just saying.
Yeah.
Landowners.
So there's again, you would come back to people complain about things now that are of the order of he called me this sectarian insult. So that's not good. That's not you wouldn't advise that. But I don't think people should go to jail for calling someone a bad name or something like that. It's there's I think people in Ireland have just been spoiled with all of the American presidents who come and visit to try and sort out our problems for us. So like
Every
Obama,
every
Clinton,
president is
everyone
Irish
comes.
here in the States.
Everyone, even Obama,
Trump.
has Irish roots. They all come and they all talk to the politicians and they twist arms and they sort things out, and that's great. But the result is that you know, someone is told to fuck off by a cop and they think, oh, I must call the United Nations. And I think, you know, do you think maybe you could just get the fuck over it? Like, you know, it's not that that's a good thing. Of course, that's a bad thing. It should be frowned upon, but a bit of perspective.
So people can
Excellent.
say whatever they want about me anytime they want. I'm a pretty thick-skinned guy, and I'll just probably laugh at them. So, you know, I wish more people would be like that, so they don't get so hurt as much. But I guess we are who we are. I'm able to stand back and go, you know what? That was funny. Now fuck off.
I think the argument here for reparations is this idea that everybody that's black or in a minority that's somehow relative, that they get some sort of check in the mail. And I think that's kind of a false idea that's been kind of turned on its head a bit. And I think the other idea that I know like people like Sanders and AOC talk about more is like you change the system. You go in and we actually do some sort of infrastructure change, which is actually going to benefit everybody, and education change. And instead of having somebody like Obama going to Flint, Michigan, not once but twice, and drinking the water and mocking people, you know, maybe that's where we should start instead of just. When I
talk to people who have deconverted and who were and you know, I was a conservative person.
I do that all the time.
I told people who were gay that they were going to hell, you know, when I was very young. But the thing is that, you know, so when I hear people say that they're now atheists and they came from the same background that I came from, my question to them, and it's an unpopular question, and maybe I only say it when I'm a little tipsy, is that how are you going to make that right? How are you going to make that good in some way? And I mean, that's one of the reasons why I do this. Maybe that's the entire reason why I do the thing that I do. And so if to broaden that out, if a society has done something and even continues to do that, then how are you going to make that right? And it is a question worth asking.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean,
Makes sense. And I have to say, I'm impressed by your historical knowledge, Auntie. There's not too many people know who the Black and Tans are.
I'm nothing but a fucking asshole, John. That's what I am. Nothing but a fucking... And I'm a Boston... If you come here to the States, right? If you come here to the States, John, we'll head over to Boston after this fucking pandemic is over. We'll go to the Black Rose, and you'll see a proper picture of Michael Collins shouting on the pub, a legitimate picture. And and it is and we'll have a couple of drams and we'll have a good time. That's what it will be.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Michael Collins is a polarizing figure still, isn't he? Though in Ireland, John.
Yeah, well, we had a civil war, and
We had a civil war.
A little one.
So all of our political party, we don't really have right and left political parties. It's not like the Conservative Party and the Labour Party. It's more like parties based on which side of the Civil War you were on.
I just want to say this is the time that I say fuck you to Neil the 604 Atheist for never having a proper civil war.
No, but I can say this.
Not yet. Give them time. Give them time.
It's not going to happen, John. However, we did come down there and burn down the White House.
You did.
That is true. You did do that. 1812, right? Was it?
Yep.
Yep.
That's only because we attempted to take over Canada a couple of times. That's
Yeah.
all.
I know,
And
that's
hey,
true.
John, they did try. The French said, "Fuck you, we're out," and the rest of Canada said, "No, not really, and we don't care."
All right, lads.
We can do it again while Trump is still there, if you like.
Please do. Please do.
You guys can build a nice new one and have somebody much better than Trump step in.
So fuck's sake, it's we've been almost at this for 2 hours, gentlemen.
We didn't even talk about the debate. I figured that was going to be something that you were going to bring up tonight. Wow.
I don't know, but, getting someone from Ireland, I have to tell you, and also getting torched, and
Not torched at all. Not torched
no,
at all.
no, not at all. No. The thing is, there's physical, like when I start hammering, when I start taking my monkey fist and start hitting the table at the pub after drinking for like 5 or 6 hours. That's typically a sign when I'm like, Andy, he's just doing whatever Andy's doing. But we're
Drunk Andy gets sober Andy in trouble because I have similar arguments with drunk James.
it is remarkable the amount of trouble I have not gotten myself into when I've been drinking.
Apparently, Iron Charioteer says, seeing Andy loopy, it puts me in a festive mood. So, Merry Christmas.
That's what I'm about. I'm all about
even
bringing
had
in the
Halloween
fun.
yet. Fuck, wait till after Halloween before we start doing all the Christmas
Right.
stuff. Crying out loud.
Last thoughts, gentlemen. 10 minutes to go. We'll start off with Neil the 604 Atheist.
Last thoughts. I was just picturing myself eating that Reese's peanut butter cup in a tutu with flippers and a snorkel. I'm not sure why, but, I've had weirder thoughts, if you can believe that. No, seriously, though.
Oh, I believe.
Last thoughts. My guest tonight on my show is Diogenes of Mayberry. He's the blog manager, I guess, for AAI or IAA or whatever the fuck. Now there's 2 of them now because my friend Courtney started her version of the same thing. And anyways, so I highly doubt we're going to get into the controversial stuff about John and Lance and all that happened a while back. Probably not going to touch on that, but we will probably touch on how he got involved with them to become their blog post manager, and also his journey away from his religious beliefs tonight. And
Nice.
one really cool guest that's coming up in the future on the 28th of this month, Mr. Vice Rhino will be joining me. Some of you may know who he is. He has a channel on YouTube. And, of course, for Halloween, I've got Brainbug on, and he's going to have some really creepy tarantulas and stuff, all in the spirit of Halloween on Halloween night. So it should be a lot of fun.
I wish I was as smart as Brainbug. When I look at Brainbug's channel, it's like I just acknowledge the fact. Like when I listen to John and his rhetoric, it's like, wow, I wish I was as smart as that guy. Not you two, not the other 2 people here. Fuck you guys. But yeah, Brainbug, just like wow.
He knows his shit.
Yeah,
He knows his shit.
Seamus, what do you got going on, brother?
Whole lot of nothing, man. Just chilling, having a drink, talking to some assholes on the internet. I don't know.
I have to ask you about COVID down there. I mean, what the hell is going on?
It's bad. It's bad. Actually, where I'm at, we had our first official death in the county, and our numbers are going through the roof. I said I'm in a tri-state area, so it's like every time one state gets their shit together and then starts getting the numbers up, then the other state fucks up. Like, oh shit, we gotta shut everything down. And then the other state's like, well, it's time to open everything up. And then the others, because people just go back and forth and fuck everything up. It's just a fucking nightmare. I mean, I know I sound like a more of a socialist every day or communist whenever I say we need to do away with this whole state shit and just step in federally right now and say this is what we're doing, and that's what should have been done a long time ago. And maybe we wouldn't have all the minutia and bullshit that we have.
Worked here for a while until the kids decided they wanted to go out and party all the time.
Yeah.
I will have to say, from what I've seen of Generation Z and the millennials, they are stuck with the shit jobs.
Yeah.
Where they have to interact with people. And I got the gray hair, and it's like I can say. Nice. I can say that I can quit my job and just sit all of this out until the vaccine occurs. But for people who don't have that kind of, whatever
Luxury.
you want to call it, luxury. All right, thank you, Neil. It's a tough haul. It is a tough haul when
I'm in essential service, so I can't do that.
yeah, it's and so a lot of these young people, they are just interacting with people and exposing themselves in horrific ways, in ways that I would be like, if we were in a just and proper or functional government, they would not have to do that.
Yeah, we don't have one, and I don't think we're going to have one anytime soon. We've never really had a functional government. I mean, it's all lies and bullshit. I mean, if you really think that
Politics
that we
is like
have,
that globally, my friend.
Yeah.
It's not just you guys.
Sure, just different
You guys
different
just have to be
avenues
in the
of
spotlight
shit.
all the time.
Oh yeah, because of our economy, where our economy is with everybody else, nobody would give a shit. So
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, really. So it's a different country for a while. We're getting embarrassed over here. Come on, look at somebody else's shit. So
go fuck Canada for a while.
I'm tired of being House of Cards for John. Okay.
Good pivot to John Hamill from the Republic of Ireland. So, John, for those people in the chat or who are going to watch this afterwards and who are stupid Americans, what might be... and this is a question I should have asked you before. So what's the difference between the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland?
Well, I actually grew up in Northern Ireland. I grew up in Belfast, and you're quite right. I'm currently living in and talking to you from the Republic, although I could walk to the border from here. I'm very close to the border. Yes.
People's Republic of Ireland, or is it the Irish People's Republic? Or sorry, little Monty Python in there.
Yeah, the
Nice.
Giant People's Front, indeed.
Splinters, they were.
So we have an independent republic since we fought for independence from the Commonwealth, and a little bit of the island is still part of the United Kingdom. So that happened about a century ago. 1922, I think, is when the country declared a republic. I think that's right. But apart from that, I'm just grateful to be here. I had some good fun. Appreciate your time, guys. If it wasn't for this, I would be sitting next
Face
door
down in the gutter somewhere. Oh, sorry.
I would be green incredibly. I would be the grumpiest man on Twitter. So I very much appreciate the opportunity to have a whiskey and be the grumpiest man on YouTube for a couple of hours.
I would challenge you to that, sir. But there's the question in the chat, John. Are you in Derry? But you're not in Derry, sir. You're.
No, I'm in County Monaghan, Castle Blaney, County Monaghan.
Castle.
Castle Blaney. Yeah, it's there's a castle. Hope Castle is near the town, which is the same. It's named for the same family as the Hope Diamond. So the same people who owned the Hope Diamond, they're essentially their holiday home is a couple of 100 yards that way. It's called Hope Castle.
Oh, no.
The thing is, what I would always like to, if I was going to brand myself, which being a dumpster fire, I don't like branding myself.
I like branding.
Nice.
Oh, sorry.
Always maybe a beat ahead of the story. All of you who are listening in the chat or watching right now, it's like, what does Northern Ireland and Ireland mean about everything? You just watch, kids. You just watch in 5 or 10 years, and we'll play this crap out because you're too young to remember how things worked out back in the day. Everyone,
It may come to that.
It may come to that. It may not. We will see how this plays out. John Hamill, Seamus, Neil. I don't even know how we were able to function for this last 2 hours, gentlemen. But
We always do.
somehow we've been able to make this work.
It's number 4. Like we're
That is.
getting the record under us now. We're getting like this is going to be. I can't wait to do number 5 in a month. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'll pick a different beer this time, or maybe I'll get another bottle of this shit. You guys there,
Oh,
vodka.
is that the Dan Aykroyd vodka there? What is
sure.
that?
Got to help represent the fellow Canadians.
Yeah, I vote next time no beer, just whiskey or
Or
some
it
sort
might
of
be
spirit.
a single malt Scotch I bring in.
So
Beers for breakfast.
John
F
has a lot
F
of things
all
to
of
talk
you.
about.
So Seamus, you're saying right now we should be doing no beer next time.
Oh no, I'll still have beer too. Like, don't give me this no beer shit, Seamus. Or I'm
Oh, come on, straight. Let's just
That's
go
it.
straight to
unfollowed,
the
unsubbed.
Am I the only one who's old enough to remember cocktails and dreams? Around here, beers for breakfast, drink or be gone.
We have a band here in Canada called Beer for Breakfast.
There you go.
I might be the oldest one out of the lot here. I'm not sure.
How old are you?
52?
Oh,
Yeah, I got.
Yeah, whoa, look at that.
just
It's like,
turned
how is your
54.
girlfriend even interacting with you, Andy Hall? That's what you're saying, Seamus. It's like, ooh, that's great. That's the most honest thing we've had in this entire conversation. You're like, oh, I don't know if I can talk to you then.
oh.
So,
Honestly,
no. Why, you know who the black and tans are? You were hanging out with them, man.
That's exactly it. Well said, John. Well said.
4 days ago, I turned 54. So yeah.
Oh, Neil, the 604 atheist, owning all
Happy
of
birthday.
this.
Break
my
that
nurse should be here to change my diapers anytime now. So.
Sweet.
So my little utterance was actually in shock, Andy. I didn't believe you were that old. I'm sorry.
That's only because I took like a couple of hours to figure out how the lighting was proper
What a
Okay.
suck.
to not. What's that? What?
I'm talking Seamus. Seamus, what a suckhole. Look at that.
I assume he
didn't know
said
you were
work.
that old.
I assume he said work deal. I mean, come on.
All right. Fair enough.
So we're closing this show off with John
2
Hamill.
hours this time.
2 hours.
Yep.
Crazy fun, and you might have learned something. I don't know. Maybe you did.
No, that part.
Hopefully you laughed. And that's all I'm trying to do here on this channel. Hopefully you laughed. John, Seamus, Neil, thank you very much. Everyone in the chat, thank you very much. This has been a lot of fun. I'm going to
Thank you
hit
kindly, folks.
Always a hoot.
Take care.
crazy stuff.
Bye, everybody.
And I'm hitting the magic end broadcast button right